But then I can also say that God, I've seen the Lord act in some really cool ways, divine intervention.
Now, you debated Ehrman and others on the resurrection. Some people say there's no real value to debates. It just divides people and so forth. What's your experience been? What are some results of some of these debates that you've seen?
Wow. Well, I've had 18 debates now.
Wow.
I've had, after my first debate with Ehrman, I had someone from the Unity Church come up and say, hey, we're with Ehrman, but gosh, we just thought you guys, we really respect you and heard you for your case, and it was just great. Two students came up to me after the debate and with smiles just grinning ear to ear and said, hey, we're just so excited about what happened tonight. We're devoting ourselves to full-time Christian ministry. 2 years ago, after my second debate with Richard Carrier, it was at Washburn University in Topeka, Kansas, a girl came up to me and she said, I'm a junior, and pretty much I gave up my faith my first semester when I came here because there was so much animosity toward the Christian faith. But I'm really glad I came tonight to this debate. I can see now that there's really good evidence for Christianity, and I can't wait to get back into the scriptures and start reading them seriously, and I'm going to be joining a campus ministry here. I could go on and on and on. There was an agnostic at that debate that said she had moved closer to faith that evening as a result of listening to the debate. But then I can also say that God, I've seen the Lord act in some really cool ways, divine intervention. There was, there's just a couple stories. It's hard to choose which one, but let me just go with this one. That debate with Carrier, I had been reading online in preparation for the debate some of the things that he was saying, and he said he had a rock-solid case against the resurrection using Bayes' theorem. Now, Bayes' theorem is a pretty complex probability calculus kind of theory, and it's pretty interesting. And I had studied it some, but I really didn't know it all that well. So it's, and Carrier's a bright guy. He's probably the toughest skeptic I've ever debated. So I had to prepare for this. I couldn't find anyone who knew Bayes' theorem really well. And I needed an expert, someone who could really train me in this. I could learn it well, know it well, so I'd be prepared for this debate. So the debate's getting closer, and I can't find anyone. Well, I go to New Orleans for EPS and SBL down there a few years ago, and I'm asking all around, anybody know Bayes' theorem? Anybody, do you know Bayes' theorem? Well, so-and-so, my professor so-and-so, hey, so-and-so said you know Bayes' theorem. Do you? Well, not that well, and stuff. Oh, man. So I'm praying, and I'm saying, God, I am going to get crushed in this debate if I don't know Bayes' theorem. Help me here. Send me someone. Put me in touch with someone who really knows Bayes' theorem. So one day at lunch, I go into a Subway, and I bump into Roger and Mary Jo Sharp, who you know now.
Yeah.
And I'm there with a couple of others, and we're sitting at this table eating our lunch, and this couple walks into Subway, and you know how you're just sitting there and you know someone's looking at you? Well, I'm eating, and I could tell this couple was looking at me, so I looked up, and they're just looking at me, and the guy said, excuse me, are you Mike Lacona? And I said, yes. And he said, hi, my wife and I, we just want you to know we really believe in your ministry and what you're doing, and we just appreciate it. And I said, well, great. And he said, by the way, I'm Timothy McGrew. This is my wife, Lydia. And I said, wait a minute. The Timothy and Lydia McGrew who have written peer-reviewed journal articles and books on Bayes' theorem? They said, yeah. And he said, we just want you to know, Mike, if there's anything we can ever do for you, let us know. So it's like, what's the probability that would happen,
Right.
It's just amazing. I ended up flying up to Kalamazoo and spending a couple of days with those guys. Brilliant. I mean, scary brilliant those guys are. And learning Bayes' theorem, and I was ready.
That's great.
So it's like real. In fact, that statement I use, "Dead critters stay dead apart from the intervention of God," that comes from Lydia McGrew. So I mean, it's like it was, and it's just one. I could name you a couple of things like that where God really worked.
That's
I
great.
love debate. It's fun.
And you see God's hand in it, which is